Yep, we're rolling for another fragrance review. So following on from clone fragrance, here is another one. This is called Ramz Lattafa, or Ramz by Lattafa. Again, a Middle Eastern company. The bottle doesn't look too bad. It's got a load of weird writing on it, called together and so on. So it's a bit different. It feels nice in the hand and weighty, but again, as I've mentioned in a previous video, try not to judge so much on the tacky design. At the end of the day, it's the quality of the fragrance that's in there. So this is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier Ultramale. Long and short of it, I've owned most of the Jean Paul Gaultier range. Pretty much unanimously, they're very nice. More recently, I actually tried the controversial, or apparently controversial online, Le Beau, that was meant to be really big at one point in time. I don't know if it's TikTok or whatever. I'm not part of all that. So yeah, I was curious and I tried. I believe it was Le Beau, either the Parfum or the EDT, one of them. And I found it quite nice. There was a note in it that was a bit strange though, that is unlike the DNA of a lot of the Jean Paul Gaultiers, but that was very nice. Now, this isn't based on that. This is based on Ultramale. Now, I always believed Ultramale was just the normal Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male, but with a different bottle, as you know, or people in the know that a lot of the Jean Paul Gaultier bottles for the original EDT, where is it? This one come in different designs. There was one with Popeye that I owned. There was one that was slightly darker. They had, I think there was even a Scottish one with a kilt. They come in different designs, but long and short of it, might have been a Superman one as well. They were the same formula, but just a different bottle design. So I always thought Ultramale was just, I don't know why. I must have seen it and just assumed it was Le Male, maybe not checking it out back in the day. So I never smelt the original. I do have a sample of it. And again, I could put that on, but then I'd be reviewing another fragrance during the review of this Ramz Lattafa, because they are slightly different in the breakdown. Obviously, this is a clone of it. It's a lot cheaper. Well, not much cheaper, because as from my understanding, Jean Paul Gaultier Ultramale isn't the most expensive in comparison to, say, the Elixir, the gold one, and the Le Parfum black, which I've got down there. So very cheap, this one as well, just putting it out there. £15 to £25 for 100ml, which is very good. It's an oriental vanilla fragrance, again following the DNA of the Jean Paul Gaultier. Top notes: pear, lavender, bergamot and mint. Middle are cardamom and sage. Base vanilla, amber, musk and patchouli. So again, going off of online, this was kind of a blind buy, but from feedback from websites and multiple other YouTube channels, even of people that I trust in terms of knowledge and unbiased reviews, a bit like my own, I like to think, it's a very close clone, like a 90%, 85%. So without further ado, apply the fragrance to the skin and go from there. So again, this is an EDP. Not always going to say that EDP is the way to go, because there are some EDTs I own that are very good, but EDP tends to be a stronger formula. So again, this is already very radiant, very citrusy, very, I don't want to say bubblegummy grape. That's the burst of the fragrance. And as I've mentioned in the past, and I'll keep going over, because again, it will save people money and time. So it's a thing I'm going to bang on about. Don't always judge a fragrance formula on the initial smell. Mistake lots of people make. They think this is gorgeous, this is lovely, I'm going to buy it now, buy a big bottle, whatever. And then the dry down could be horrendous, or the performance could be lacking. So again, it's always very important to, obviously you can test it on the strip, but it's always going to be better on the skin and different on the skin, because everybody's body chemistry is different. How you detect the smell is also different between the different sexes and the different people, different nose chemistry. So yeah, very bubblegummy, very citrusy, fresh and clean. It's almost like, I don't want to say like shower jelly, but like you can picture, it's kind of got that sort of, out the shower sporty vibe, kind of like aqua-y, or that's how I perceive it. But yeah, it's very, unlike say other EDPs where the formula can change, this is very consistent in terms of the formula, which makes sense because I believe that the Ultramale was an EDT. So even though this is the Parfum, it's basically the clone of the EDT. So maybe you get a little bit more longevity with this. From my understanding, as I say, going back to, it's a very good copy of Ultramale, which again, some people consider it like a clubbing fragrance, a bit like Versace Eros, which I also own. I can see that because it's kind of like, it's got that liveliness about it. You know, if you smelt someone in passing, it's quite pleasant. It's that kind of ticking the boxes of the sweet, sort of like younger gentleman, younger male. That's how I perceive it, being once upon a time a younger male. I'm 38 now. So I can imagine, like back in the day in my 20s, wearing this sort of thing for clubbing, which I used to do with the original Jean Paul Gaultier. Nothing wrong with wearing it as an older guy, but just putting it out there, it comes across to me as slightly younger generation, 20s into 30s. Not that an older person can't wear it. Yeah, it's very pleasant. It's, as again, without reiterating over the bubblegummy aspect, that's the main thing that I detect. Obviously when it dries down, the bubblegum aspect kind of is still there, but goes a bit softer. It's not as harsh. What would I give it out of 10? So in terms of projection and so on, I would say a 4 to 6 hours. Again, very similar to an EDT. So the performance isn't better. Sorry, the performance 4 to 6 hours. Projection's pretty good. First hour or two, then it dries down, becomes fairly normal, like most fragrances. Not good or bad in that aspect. I'd probably say a 7 out of 10. Again, for the price, it's excellent. I never smelt the original back in the day, but if it smelt like this, which is meant to be 85–90% accurate, I think I would have purchased it personally. So a 7 out of 10 is recommended. The reason I wouldn't give it maybe an 8 out of 10, which is what I was toing and froing with, in terms of the longevity, it's not as good as some of the other EDPs that I own or have experienced, which would push the marks up. The price is excellent though. And the other negative in terms of my opinion, because it's so sweet and bubblegummy, I think it targets a certain demographic. Older gentlemen might not like it. Women might like it in terms of on a guy. They might compliment because it tends to, again, not overanalyze, but they prefer sweeter fragrances. Not always, but that's my understanding of that. So yeah, a 7 out of 10 is still a good mark. The reason it doesn't get an 8, as I say, is because it's targeted on a slightly younger demographic, and I think that because of the liveliness of it, you could wear it clubbing, maybe to the gym, but in terms of like an office or even a date, maybe certain dates you could get away with it. But I think that it's, the long and short of it is that it's targeted on certain situations. Again, not that that's a bad thing. Again, people online say it's good to have a summer fragrance, a winter or fall fragrance in America, a gym fragrance, a clubbing, an EDT. You know, like myself, I have variation and varieties. So 7 out of 10 for overall the Ramz Lattafa. I do recommend it, especially at this price. You can't really fault it. So yeah, 7 out of 10 Ramz Lattafa, which is a clone of Ultramale by Jean Paul Gaultier, and we'll end that there.